She starts barking when I bloody start recording. We're on? Yeah. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I teased you last time when I was about to start this engine. Now, let's be honest, there's a bit more to do to actually get that happening. So, we're gonna rip straight into it, no more mucking around, let's get this thing started. Alrighty, so I don't even have an intake manifold, the radiator's not plumbed or anything. There's so much to do, I think it's time to write a list. I've got a helper today, hello.
Hi.
This is Monique. I reckon we need to write a list first, so we know what the hell we're doing, and then we'll rip into it. I got Monique because she is into drifting a little bit. You've got a BMW.
Yeah.
We'll go do skids later.
Yeah, go on.
Let's do that. All right, let's get a texter and a bit of cardboard and work out what we got left to do on this thing.
How much shit do we need?
It's gonna be a big list, trust me. It's almost as big as you. Okay, intake, manifold, exhaust, radiator, power steering hose, battery box, fuel lines, they're not done up, sway bar, fluids, it's got no oil or anything. It'll be ready by Sunday, won't it?
Should
Saturday.
You'd hope so.
Matsuri. It's like the last 10% of any build is so big. Okay, I think that'll do for now, kind of maybe. It'll get us started at least. You're allergic to rainwater?
Yes.
But you're not allergic to showers?
No.
But what if you shower in rainwater?
I've been to myself, just me lately. I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot, no. Just me and the fam, few friends ain't playing. I don't speak a lot, and I can't stop.
I think we need to go shopping for some other stuff though.
Yeah.
We're taking your car.
Are we?
Yeah. As you shut the door, it reinstalls the door car.
Wait, pimp my ride, ready? Look at that.
We're gonna do a build on this.
Yeah.
Comment below if we're gonna build the Beamer up.
Yeah.
What do you want, a turbo?
Yeah. 2J?
2J?
12 seconds later.
Got back from the shop, got some stuff. It's fucked.
Are you putting belts on?
Yeah.
All right, I'm actually really Okay, not gonna lie, I may have just come back from a little cry about that one. Anyway, I'm a little bit frustrated because I just spent a heap of time making up this fan shroud. Put it in and it's still too big because we're basically using, here it is, one of these small slimline 16-inch fans, which I thought we'd have enough room, but we don't because of the depth that we have here. Bit of a shame because we're not gonna be able to get that vacuum to suck the air through. Instead, we're gonna have to do what we did with the 80 and make up a flat panel that goes across this to sink it down a bit more, which means it's only gonna be sucking through the diameter of the fan. We may add some little holes around the side as well to give it some flow, but it should be fine because it's a massive fan as well. But I'll probably duck down to Ryan from Rod's Engineering to get him to basically laser cut one of them out. It'll be way more cleaner, super easier, and we'll get that perfect hole for the fan. So, another little roadblock, but we should get it sorted. We got the exhaust in, power steering hose done. Fuel lines are waiting on parts, waiting on parts, waiting on parts, waiting on parts. We got belts in, bonnet latches. I'm gonna call that done. Oh, that's done. Whatever was there is done. 50% off the online store. That's what we're doing right now because we are rebranding very soon. So if you want to get your hands on the last bit of merch, jump over to the website. The link will be in the description below. And also, we are running a massive 4-week giveaway with SP Tools. The first one has already been drawn. There's 3 more prizes. If you want to win, jump over to my Instagram and find the post, how to win your very own SP Tools. Alrighty, so I'm waiting on a few little parts to finish off getting the motor started, some fittings and a couple of sensors as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start painting the thing now. Initially I was gonna wrap it, chatting to Sass, bit of a design up the side, but come with me in here. There's a new trend happening. It's taken the internet by storm. So it's perfect for this sort of build. And believe it or not, we've just got a ton of different spray cans and stuff. So it's called, I don't know what it's actually called. It's come from Germany. It's like an anime slash cartoon slash comic book style paint job. And it's sort of to make the car look like it's sitting in the sun, but it's sort of sitting still in the shade. It's hard to explain. I'll show you some photos of the work that he's done. So my artist who actually did the wall here has been dying to do one of these paint jobs, but I want to have a crack at this myself. So we're going to use a few different pinks and purples to sort of stay with that purple theme with the motor. And as it comes together, you'll get an idea of how we're doing it. And I'll show you halfway through. That's only the first step. And then we finish it with a ton of paint textures and pens as well. So let's rip into it and I'll explain what's happening as we get further along. Alrighty, well phase one is complete. It looks half okay. I think we did all right, but it really comes to life when we start adding the borders and accents. So you literally, a couple of paint pens from Officeworks. They're very thick ends on them, and every single line, curve, paint change, panel change, gets a black line on it. So this is what brings it to life. And even a few little flicks as well, you can start doing some little flick lines and that, but kind of the rougher you are, the better. This isn't getting perfect lines, you kind of just sketch it in, and that's sort of the style. So let's give it a crack. All right, I've kind of surprised myself. Now the fluoronite actually makes sense. We'll put a little dust coat of clear on there to protect it, and it kind of came out better than I thought. So it's that easy to do. Just get a texture, get a bit of cans of paint, bloody make it up. It's gonna look pretty good going down the track. So next thing now is to actually get the thing running. So I'm gonna jump on the laptop, get on the Haltech and actually program. There's some base maps for an RB25 to basically get the thing started. Starter motor's gonna go in, radiator, fluids, and then we'll fire the thing up. So I promise it's gonna happen this episode. Let's get into it. Right, I've just spent the last hour or so playing with the ECU, set up all the triggers, all the sensors, calibrations, and I've gone to the dash as well and actually programmed that so I can see oil pressures, temperatures. They're all looking like they're in the correct range, which is good. I did crank it a bit and it wasn't showing oil pressure yet. Sometimes you can see a bit of pressure on cranking before you actually start it, so I want to try and get at least 15, 20 pound. Make sure the oil is circulating, so maybe I need to add a bit more. Also make sure that there's a feed to the turbo before we try and crank it. I also had some dramas with the ignition trigger because I do have that PRP kit. I did actually get to jump on the phone with Haltech. They got an awesome customer support system, and he talked me through how to set up the home trigger, count the amount of teeth on the crank tooth, and set all that up properly. So most of that is probably organized now. Just got to work out why we're not getting oil pressure, and then hopefully basically just turn on the ignition and the fuel and just see if we start getting some numbers. So that's the next step. All right, time for a bit of an update. This is where we're at. There's a couple of things, a little bit of a drama. I've got most of the sensors done in the tune, ECU programmed, but the firing and the trigger with the PRP kit, just sort of working through that. There's basically like a top dead center offset angle that you got to put in. So I've got a timing light and it uses the home from the cam and then the crank as your sensor trigger, which has a tooth missing, but it doesn't know exactly where in the stroke, whether it's compression stroke or an exhaust stroke, of the firing for it to kind of work out where to fire. Because we try to start it and it basically backfired through the intake. So that's not quite right. I'm gonna put a timing light on and get it that right. There's two fittings for the fuel system that I've finally got so we can start priming the fuel system, getting the rail pressures right. I need to adjust this regulator here. I think it's about 40 pound you put in the rail, and then there'll be a proportioning hose that basically follows the vacuum to maintain that pressure. Had to rewire this to correct the CAS system for that cam trigger. Everything else is good. It's got water in it, power steering fluid. I worked out how to actually set the O2 wideband sensor on the ECU, so there's a lot of Haltech learning going on at the moment, but it's pretty close. I think we should have it fired in the next day or two.
The next day.
It fired at kind of the right time. Timing's all fucking out, but. Alrighty, we've loaded the 180 onto the trailer and taken it down to Tyre Power in Caloundra. Seeing the boys here to get the wheel alignment sorted. So now that it's running, we need to sort out those arms, because in last episode you saw we had all the new GK Tech rear arms, front arms. Gonna set the camber, gonna set the toe for the front and rear. The thing's that hard to push because it's all f***ing out. So hopefully that'll sort it, and then it can be ready for the dyno, because you want it already kind of aligned for the dyno so it runs straight on the rollers. So boys are gonna sort it out, see how we're looking. Show me your ass. Every time I get, it's what we get in every fucking episode, you see your bum. Alright, backup plan for the brakes. Is the human inside? Oh, my sticker's eye out the window. You can see out of that, eh? Yeah, she'll be right. Fun fact though, you know I did actually used to work at a tyre shop. For 2 years I did wheel alignments on cars. That was like my first job out of school. So. Okay, so it clearly didn't run good in that last clip. So we've gone straight from the wheel alignment to Shane at ProCheck Automotive in Caloundra here. Now we're doing a dyno tune, and that's why we had to do the wheel alignment before it came here, because on the rollers you want it to run straight. So Shane has been working the last couple of days to fix the Haltech sensors, injector settings, spark settings for all your coil packs and that, and he's actually got, check it out. Oh! She's purring like a kitten. So now that it actually runs, it's time to dyno tune it. So we're gonna start winding up the boost and see what this thing makes. He reckons it's pretty safe for around that 450, 500 horsepower. So we'll see how the turbo behaves, how it pulls, and hopefully crank some good numbers. So let's get into it. Right, it's on the dyno. What are we looking at first?
So basic settings first. So we'll start with injector data, all your timing settings, all your gauge settings as in your sensors, make sure they're all reading correctly. And once we've got a good base idea, we'll start going through the rev range, we'll check fueling, make sure it's good, and then we'll get up on some boosts and we'll start putting some fuel in some boosts, and then we'll play with timing and we'll get some power.
So with the turboed car, it's pretty easy to just keep winding up the power. You wind up boost, add fuel, there's no real restriction until you hit that level. So because it's a stock bottom end, that's my limit. So a factory Neo can handle what? You reckon 500 maybe?
Yeah.
So if we can get 450, that's a nice number. Like 500 might be a bit much for the level that I'm at. So we're going for that 450 mark, and then it should be nice and easy. The motor's not working too hard, and then we'll get plenty of power for the track. So that's the plan for now, and see how it goes. We're getting closer now to do some power runs. Now the issue we've got is the external gate that's on there. We're running a T-piece to basically adjust boost pressure, but the minimum pressure with the current springs in the wastegate is kind of too much, so we basically have no boost control. The minimum boost that we can have is about 18, 19 pound, which is really pushing the limit of that stock motor. So we've started there for now, starting to add a bit of timing in that. It'll make decent power, but it may or may not blow up. So we either change the spring out in the wastegate, lower the boost to make it safer, or just send it. I don't know, comment below what you reckon I should do. I feel like we just send it, and if it blows, just make it a forged motor. It's also slipping a load on the dyno, so we're not actually getting power readings because the wheels are just spinning. All right, I think we found the issue. A couple of things. One, it is spinning off the dyno a little bit, so we're not getting a proper reading. And yeah, there's a dip there. Two, it's actually got low compression. So this is one of the things when you import a motor, you don't know the history of it. It was making like 85, 90 pound of cylinder pressure, which is kind of low. The RB20 had 45, so it's like shitload better than that, but it's still no good. It should be up around that 140, 180 mark. So no compression means no boost, no power, but it's half decent. So I think I'll run it on the track, see how it goes, and then eventually have to put rings through it, probably some forged pistons, and then we can make as much as we want. But for now, I don't know, I'm sick of working on it, I just want to drive it. So that's where we're at. Shane's done a mad job. So now we'll just go do skids. That's what you just did with your RB25 is a forge build, yeah, same deal.
It's got rods, pistons, bearings, head gasket studs, top and bottom.
All the stuff.
Should have all the stuff.
So that's what I want. Anyway, there's your little slippage. Bugger.